All right, everybody, welcome to the Cut to the Chase Sports Podcast. This is season 2 of episode 2. Doing it in a little different of a place besides my home. I'm actually in the Earlham Hall of Fame right now in this nice, nice room with a lot of chairs and everything. But yeah, different location and all, but we are back at it, and we have a different face in the room tonight because of some uh,
Yep.
some scheduling conflicts. But yeah, Logan Box, one of my good friends,
And
dude. How
everyone,
are you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful today, man. I'm excited to be here.
For sure, man. Definitely a cool thing to have, one of your best buds on the show and all that. Just being here and talking about football. You know how it is. You know how it be.
Guys being dudes.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And so kind of let's look at some headlines coming up from this past weekend. Actually, we'll do the what we're looking forward to later on in the show. But what's one thing that kind of caught your eye last week, just in sports in general, like just something from last weekend?
Whew, man, putting me on the spot early. Well, honestly,
Hey,
that Oklahoma versus Tulane game that really caught my eye big time. 'Cause, Tulane, they played one heck of a game. Saw they came up short. I was hoping,
mhm.
but
Yep.
Oklahoma didn't look too good. Hopefully, they turn around this Saturday. But who knows? I hope they do well this year. It's good to see them. Always good. But other than that, that game was obviously one of great game to watch. So yeah,
Definitely was. I saw that Oklahoma had a pretty good lead, and Tulane was able to just battle back, and all the stuff that Tulane went through this past week with Hurricane Ida in New Orleans and all. I mean, that was a valiant effort for them to
really.
go out there, and it was good hospitality for Oklahoma to go out there and even have their logo somewhat on the field on the I think it was on the 25-yard line,
That was
25 or 20-yard line.
that was
That's where
really
they had
for them
their
too.
logos at and all that, which I thought that was a great sign of respect. And Tulane went out there, and I think Oklahoma, I think they got some things to work on. Spencer Rattler's not a bad young quarterback. He's just a little careless with the ball. That was a lot of things. That was a lot of the things that we saw last year with him.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
it's early in the season, just the first game. Got to clean some of that stuff up. Tulane, you can't slouch on them. They've always been like even they're not like a historically great program, but they're always seem to be in the midst of things. They're always playing tough opponents, teams from down south or in the Midwest,
Mm.
and it seems as though they get after it though. Like they
I
play
think
they play some
their
big teams.
program's on the rise. I feel like I think they'll be good in a couple years.
I believe so too. I think they got a lot of things to look forward to, especially how the program was able to rally this past weekend. It was a 40-35 game, but man, their quarterback he played one hell of a
He-
game. He really did. I turned it at one of the
he-
at one of the better times late in the game when I think it was fourth down, and he dove for the first down, came up a little short, but I think it just showed that the heart that Tulane is going to bring the rest of the season. Who knows when they're going to be able to play a home game with all of this going on? The New Orleans Saints are having to play their home game this Sunday in Jacksonville. Like the whole city is just
just
it's a buzz right now for the wrong reasons. So I think this is a sign of good things to come for Tulane, and a lot of excitement for the Green Wave fans. But yeah,
they do well this year. Praying for them.
mhm.
They do well.
And then one thing that I kind of took away uh, this weekend, I remember you, and Sam were over at the house, and that Clemson Georgia game. Um, Georgia's defense
Oh,
is for real. They're for real. Clemson's defense is not bad, but I will say this: that I am concerned about DJ Youngalele. I don't know if I got the pronunciation right or whatever, but I am concerned about him in a manner. I think he'll be able to rebound. I feel like he's gonna be fine in that sense, but um, I am worried with some of the reads and decisions that he was making. This was a top 5 defense in the country that he was playing against. First game of the season. This is the first time him being the guy. He is the starter, but he was brought in for a reason. He was a top quarterback in the country. But his performance can lead to some concern. But with the teams that they're going to play the rest of the season, I don't think it should happen often. I don't think that performance is going to happen often when it comes, to abysmal numbers like that. But that's one concern that I came away with from this weekend. But there was a lot of hype coming to this game. There was a lot of hype, and I know.
I do think Clemson's O-line was not too great. I feel like if they had a good O-line, I feel like DJ could have produced more. But who knows this year? I mean, I hope DJ plays great. Loved him, loved watching him in high school. But I do hope he does well this year for sure.
Definitely, nothing's lost for Clemson because this is that was a top 5, Georgia team they were playing against. There's obviously 11 more games plus the conference championship that they're most likely going to be in and all that. So there's I don't think you don't want to press the panic button right now for Clemson at all. When you're playing when it's a top 5 matchup, one team's going to be like, okay, we feel really good about ourselves coming out of the night. And then the other team's going to be like, this is like Dabo said, this is the standard of what we're going to have to reach to the rest of the season. We're going to have to be better and beat teams like this to win a national title. That's what I heard in one of the press conferences, the post-game press conferences. So, just looking at Clemson and how that's a new look this year, that's one thing that I was able to take away. And this past weekend on Friday, I announced my first high school football game on the air, which was cool with TKDS Sports, Jackson Lightcap and all them. There's still more to come when we're going with that. But it was pretty fun announcing. We'll be on the call down in Kettering, Ohio for Northmont at Fairmont. 7:00 p.m. TKDS Sports. Check out if you want.
Might be there. I might be there.
You might. Yes, we are going to talk about that after the show. But yeah, something like we're going to dive into a little more of college football. We kind of talked about the Clemson game already, but we haven't talked about. I want to get a little bit of your favorite team, the Tennessee Volunteers. What did you like this weekend from the Rockies?
Man, there's a lot to talk about. Phew. I do like Joe Milton. I'll be honest with you. I do really like him. I think he has potential. A lot of fans do not like him, which honestly I don't know why. I think he's a good quarterback. I do think he needs to work on his accuracy a little bit. But our receivers, man, they were just killing us. We would have had a lot more points, a lot more receiving yards. But, they dropped a lot of balls. Our best receiver, Jaden Hyatt, he, had a tough day, like 3 drops. But other than that, I think we played a pretty good game. Our defense, did well, stopped them. They didn't score a touchdown. We were also missing 2 key linebackers due to ineligibility and COVID reasons, but they will be back versus Pitt this week, so I'm excited for this game as well.
Definitely, and there's a lot to there's stuff to look forward to of Tennessee. I think part of the thing with Joe Milton was just the stuff that went on at Michigan, like the decline and stuff. I could understand why some Tennessee fans are like, well, what he did at Michigan, it wasn't much, so why would he do more here? He's in the
I was really skeptical about him coming here too, but I'm excited for him. I also want to see some action with Bailey as well, but I don't know who's our guy yet, but because we still need to see both of those in action. But the right man who's going to get us some wins, I'm down forever. Anybody, honestly.
Yep, just got to get a feel of it. Tennessee with all those different quarterbacks and stuff, if it looks like, in sense of when we're talking about the National Football League professional sports, it seems as though that they're in a rebuild, but they definitely could, if they hit Jack on a quarterback, they could make some noise. They could make some noise, get to bigger bowl game and stuff like that, it's going to be tough to take down the Vikings of Florida, Alabama.
Those are tough games for us,
Just
hope we do well, but I know we're not going to win, sadly. But
but I mean,
get some points.
Just looking forward to it, and being able to compete against teams like that can be really big. When it comes to those circumstances. When I look at Ohio State, shifting to my team, looking at Ohio State. I had a talk with Brady, who couldn't be on the show tonight, and he gave me such an in-depth, detailed breakdown analysis, which was perfect. I wish I was able to break it down for you again, but I can't take some of the words that he was able to say. Like, I was able to see that, the D-line played really well. They came up when they needed to. Got the big strip sack. Haskell Garrett taking it for a touchdown. Did a very good job there. The linebackers, probably the soft spot, when it comes to the defense and all. But I do feel as though there's a lot more room to grow, because these are some young linebackers. We had a lot of veteran linebackers when it comes, Tough Borland and and Pete Warner last year. Those guys,
I did get to meet Tough Borland.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I remember that story.
Last year. Great guy.
Yep,
great
I remember that.
Love that guy a lot, man.
Yep. And then the secondary with a lot, had a couple guys out and everything, but then coming to show, like, they actually played a very good game. Tanner Morgan didn't do a whole lot passing the football and all. And then the safety position, I believe they played pretty well. I'm just kind of going off the notes of what Brady was talking about when we were with each other on Sunday. And then I think they said they had they only ran 2 backer sets, and they had a guy playing the bullet position. So basically a hybrid safety linebacker position. And I really forget that dude's name, but that's why I wish Brady was on here. But he had a A+ performance in the likings of Brady King. So, that dude knows all about Ohio State football and everything. And when it comes to the offense, you could see it pretty well. C.J. Stroud was a little shaky to start, but was able to come through. He ended up throwing 4 touchdowns, the 1 pick for the game. I think he threw for over 300 yards as well. Completion percentage could get a little better, but coming up with a young quarterback like that and seeing the promise that he was able to do right there, that's something to look forward to. And then you look, the running back crew.
Mm-hmm.
That running back crew, Travion Henderson, taking that touchdown. What was it, like a 70? It was like a 70-yard touchdown off a swing pass, something like that. The burst of speed, off of that was incredible.
He's something. He's something.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think we've got a pretty good running back crew, but I think Travion Henderson will eventually take over, and the wide receiver core. We're not, we know the whole deal with that. We do. They're the best core in the country, deepest core in the country, 6, 7 deep. There's probably guys on the list that we don't even know about that, should be brought up. But then you got, Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Julian Fleming, Marvin Harrison. I'm just naming off names right now. And Jamison Williams with the Bama Crimson Tide and all that. But yeah. And then, we got teammates out there. I got to point at them. But yeah. But coming with Ohio State and all that stuff, that's something to look forward to. I can't hear a single word they're saying, but it's all good. But yeah, the offensive line for Ohio State, pretty good right now. Oh, they're coming in here. Come on, yeah, come here.
Let's do it. Cut to the chase. Yes, sir.
He on it.
Oh yeah, you tuning in to Cut to the Chase podcast, where we got the best sports talk in the nation.
Oh, we got everybody.
We got the best sports talk in the nation.
We got a whole crew coming
Cut to the
in.
chase.
Oh man.
Packers in 7.
And that's the gangway, nigga.
Shit.
Oh my God.
I gotta
I
edit
just
that.
want to let y'all know
It's no reason why you can't average 25 points.
It's no
per
reason
game.
why you can't average 25
Yes.
points per game. It's
Yes.
no reason.
No
You
reason.
just put your mind to it.
Oh, God.
25.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. What y'all was talking about, though? Let me get the live.
We was talking a little bit about college football.
Oh, yeah. Ohio State taking it off.
All right, shit.
I'm just saying.
See?
We sorry for fucking up your podcast.
I don't care. They got to see Antonio on the show, man. The views is going up now. All right, man. But yeah, the Ohio State offensive line, that is a big bolster unit. I'm not going to try to disregard that. That was pretty funny. But yeah, that Ohio State offensive line, best in the country and all that stuff. I think everybody knows about that. So I think Ohio State's got a pretty good core, pretty good unit when it comes to going through the season. They got a tough matchup though against Oregon this weekend, and what is it? Was it Kevion Thibodeau or whatever? The really good defensive end for the Ducks. I'm pretty sure he's hurt, but
our golden boy Brady King's going that game.
Yes. Oh, he is.
Yeah, he's going. He's got, I think, what he told me this morning. I think it's like 50-yard line, like front row, something like that.
Oh, he's actually going. He was telling me that he couldn't go because of the film. Wow. Okay.
He told me he's like. So yeah.
I thought he said he was going though, like a while ago. But yeah,
I think Ohio State. I'll be honest with you. I think Oregon. They didn't do too well last week. I think Ohio State will bounce back and have a really good game this week. I feel like Oregon, they struggled last week against Fresno State at home too, which is kind of big time.
It is a little big time. Yeah, Fresno State's not a slouch, but yeah, it's understandable. Like coming out the gate like that, you can't come out the gate flat. That's
I hope they bounce back, and I hope it's a really good game this week. So.
Definitely, and I think it will be. You got the Fox crew on there, Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt. You got the
whole I know Gus Johnson.
Ohio Stadium, first time Ohio Stadium has been with the fans since like November of 2019. That place is going to be jumping. That place is going to be up for sure. And they do have
way, but I can't go. Man.
Yeah, and I wish I could too, but I got some things to take care of for Sunday. Yeah,
I got a special day going, anyways.
Oh, you do. We've talked about it. You got a special day going for sure. But yeah, and then I looked at Kayvon. Yes, it's Kayvon Thibodeau. Sorry, I don't follow college football as much, but yes, Kayvon Thibodeau. Still day to day. No decision regarding Ohio State, which means that he'll probably be back for Ohio State. That's just kind of how it is. And that's just kind of how it goes. If he's not back for the Ohio State game, I feel as though this should be an easier game. Not an easier game, but it's going to be a good game though. Like it's going to leave a lot of potential pressure off of CJ Stroud. But if he's in there, that's a game changer. He's a game changer of a player. I haven't got to watch a whole lot of film on him yet, but I definitely will before that game just to see on what kind of a game record that he could play. But he is the number one prospect coming in next year.
Yeah.
So he's obviously worth the watch. But yes, those games, Ohio State, Oregon, coming up on Saturday, noon on Fox. We're going to look at some of the other top games this week for week 2 in the college football. And we're going to get some picks going. So look down at the list right now. Alabama, number 1. Alabama's playing Mercer, 4 p.m. on SEC Network. Georgia's against UAB, 3:30 p.m. on ESPN2. Ohio State, Oregon, that's the 3 versus 12 matchup on Fox. Oklahoma at home against Western Carolina, 7 p.m. And number 5, Texas A&M versus Colorado. That is a 3:30 p.m. game on Fox in Denver to look out for. And then, Clemson, South Carolina State. Cincinnati's playing Murray State. Notre Dame, Toledo. That game's going to be on NBC and Peacock.
Hopefully Larry Stevens is in that game.
Huh?
Hopefully Larry Stevens.
Yes, that would be nice to get some representation.
937, right?
Yeah, but that should be a good game. Always like watching Notre Dame games on NBC. And then going down this line, we've got one hell of a game at 4:30. Iowa State and Iowa.
Ooh.
Number 9 versus number 10, Kinnick Stadium. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun to watch. Going to be a really fun game.
I feel like this is going to be a great weekend.
Oh, yeah. It should be.
Plus, NFL football is going to be back. So.
And you got the NFL. You got the whole, you got the Cowboys and the Bucs game we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But, yes, I'm going to we're going to do these the top 10 games. We're going to do some of these picks. How do you feel about Ohio State versus Oregon? Give me a pick and give me a score.
I got Ohio State winning. I'm going to say 24 to I'll go, you know what, hold on. I'll go 17-38 Ohio State. I think they will game plus with the crowd too. I think that'll be a huge impact on them.
All right. I'm going to give you my pick. I think Ohio State's going to put up 35. I think the defense is still going to try to figure some things out. I feel like they're going to do a fine job against Oregon, but I do feel like the score is going to be 35-20 with the Bucs in favor of that. I think C.J. Stroud's going to finally have himself a pretty good game. If Kayvon Thibodeau is playing, might be a little shaky at the start, but I think the offensive line is going to take care of that overall, and he's going to get nice and settled and all that and play just fine. This is a game where the defense needs to come up big. They need to take some of the pressure off the offense and let C.J. Stroud not think about too much. So I think the defense is going to have a really big impact on this, and I think Ohio State's going to win by 15. That's my score, 35-20. You heard Logan, 38-17 Ohio State. Let's hop to another enticing game, which is, probably equally one of the biggest games of the week, Iowa State versus Iowa. Didn't get to watch a whole lot of Iowa last week, but I read that box score. Man, what was it, 38-6 over Indiana, I believe? It was some score like that. I mean, it was a blowout fashion.
I honestly don't even know who to pick. This one's going to be tough. Honestly, I think I'm going to go with Iowa on this one. I think it's going to be really close, though. I'll say I think it'll be a low-scoring matchup. I'm going to go with 24-20 Iowa.
Okay. Well, I feel as though that I'm going to disagree. I think Brock Purdy's going to go in there, and I think he's going to play himself a fine football game. But I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to end up being 20-17. 20-17. I do think defense will prevail in this. Normally, I would pick Iowa in the sense, but I do think this is going to be a statement game for the Cyclones when it comes Saturday at that time. So I got Iowa State taking that one, and then we're going to do our last game that we're going to pick. Saturday night football game. Michigan and Washington. We have a lot of Michigan fans who watch this show, and heard they're very upset about the Ronnie Bell injury, and then Cade McNamara and all that playing quarterback. And then Washington's been trying to find themselves since they've been, kind of out in the proverbial wasteland, but nothing terrible. They haven't been back to the college football playoff. That's the Pac-12, though. But, yes, the Saturday night football, how do we see Michigan and Washington playing out?
Washington had kind of a tough game last week. So I think Michigan will win this game. Don't think it will be a too good of a game. I'm thinking kind of a lower scoring game. I think Michigan will win. I'm trying to think of the score here. I'm gonna say I'll go with 14 to. Let's go 14-17 Michigan.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take the backings of the big house and go on ahead. I think Michigan will kind of, I think they'll have a little bit of their way with it. I'm gonna go with a score of 23-13 Michigan. I think it's gonna be, it's gonna be a slower game, ground and pound type of game. Haven't watched much Michigan football over the last 2 years because, I don't like them. But yes, I do think Michigan will try to take advantage of this game, and they'll try to get the whole ground and pound method going on and all that. Dre in the comments. Yep. Appreciate the love. But yes, that's how I see that turning out, 23-13. That is it for the college picks. And we're going to roll into one of my favorite parts, the NFL, starting less than 24 hours tomorrow. We're going to see Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys take crew over to Tampa, defending champion, Tom Brady, Buccaneers, Cowboys, Bucks. It's going to be
Excited for that game.
Al and Chris on the call. Football Night in America at 7:30. It's what I've been waiting for. I've been counting down the days since that Super Bowl, between Brady and Mahomes just ended in such weird fashion. But yes, there's a lot to look forward to when it comes to this game. Storylines going into this. The Cowboys are not going to have starting guard Zach Martin, and he plays a pretty big role in the protection of Dak Prescott, especially with him coming off of an injury like a broken ankle, a gruesome broken ankle. It obviously wasn't, due to poor protection, but Dak Prescott was out there. The man was carrying last year, carrying in those 4 or 5 games, just putting up yards and numbers and touchdowns, but the defense couldn't stop a cold. It was tough stuff to recover from. But it's going to be interesting to see how Dak Prescott comes back from an injury like this, seeing if he's going to be comfortable in the pocket, because there's been reports on how, his throwing shoulder, he's been throwing less and less at practice. This was back in the month of July and August, but all systems a go. That's what the reports are saying. That's what the team is saying. That's what he's saying. So, we got to get a good dose of Dak Prescott tomorrow. Can't forget about Ezekiel Elliott, though. Had one of his worst seasons last year, but 983 yards on the ground. That's one of your worst seasons compared to the 1,200 and 1,300 yard performances that he was able to put up year in and year out. 983 yards. If that's the low part of the bar, he's doing things right overall for his career.
He's doing well.
Definitely is. And then you look at the Cowboys receiving core. You got Amari Cooper, leading that bunch. And then CeeDee Lamb has really taken over that 2 role, but I think he'll eventually be a number 1 in this league. He's out there making spectacular plays and catches and, learning more about the game and all. And then Michael Gallup as a 3, he's pretty good 3 option playing in the slot and stuff, and also putting him outside. CeeDee Lamb actually works really well in the slot, though. Some of the route combos that Dallas is able to run. I like the OC Kellen Moore. That's one thing that when they did the overhaul from Jason Garrett over to Mike McCarthy. The one thing that they kept, though, in the coaching staff was Kellen Moore. I really like what they were able to do in 2019 on offense when Dak Prescott had a full season. And then 2020, we saw the numbers were astronomical, but the losses were plummeted down into the face of the earth. But I am excited to see what Dak Prescott's able to do. And we haven't even mentioned, the Buccaneers. We haven't mentioned their offense yet. We'll get to that in a minute. The Cowboys defense looks a little better. I did like the draft pick with Micah Parsons from Penn State. The guy can play anywhere inside the box. He can play. He could play. D tackle if he needed to, but he, playing the linebacker position. He is the quarterback of that defense and all. So I think they really hit on that one. They got him, Leighton Vander Esch in the middle. And Jalen Smith, they got a really good and strong linebacking core. The secondary, Trayvon Diggs is he's their best corner with Chidobe Awuzie leaving to Cincinnati in the offseason. But secondary is decent. D-line isn't bad. DeMarcus Lawrence is the leader of that unit. The linebacking core is the strong, is a strong unit of that. But is it going to be enough to take down the defending Super Bowl champions is the big question. That's what we are all asking right now. Tom Brady, 40 touchdowns, 12 picks last year, like 4,600 yards, 7 Super Bowl title. What do you expect from Tom Brady this year?
I don't know, honestly. Me and one of my friends, AJ, actually, we were discussing this yesterday. He thinks that Tom Brady will have a kind of a down year and will retire after this year. I think Tom Brady will have an excellent career year this year again because he's the GOAT. I think he's a wonderful player. I think he'll do pretty well. I think his numbers will be a little lower this year, but definitely I think we'll still have a wonderful year. And I have them going back at least to the NFC Championship again, if not maybe even the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to dethrone those guys, especially returning, all 22 starters. That's unheard of, though. One Super Bowl champion has been able to do that, but that overall is just unheard of to return all of your starters. Brady with the 40-12. There is going to be a little bit of a dip, but you can never doubt him. But I could see him surfacing still around 35 touchdowns. I think the interceptions are going to go down. He had a lot of those interceptions. Actually, I think he had a quarter of the interceptions against the Saints. Actually, had 5 of the 12 interceptions were against the New Orleans Saints in 2 games last year in the regular season. So I do feel as though he's going to be making a lot more better decisions.
Yeah, I do think because it was his first year with the Bucs last year,
it really like toward the right after the bye week. Actually, that's when they started hitting their flow. Their bye week was late in the season. They were 7-5 and they lost to the Chiefs. And then I think that's when they were able to start speeding things up, and they were able to they were able to settle in, but then they're able to get on the track and just go. And that's when you saw Tom Brady's best games come out, and then just kept going, and they just kept progressing. And Brady, obviously he's the GOAT when it comes to winning and everything. And also he takes care of his body on and off the field. It's actually unbelievable, investing around $1 million a year into himself, which is, that's crazy to think about.
Honestly, I think it's just him kissing his boys. That's all. I think.
That meme, man. Jeez. But yeah, maybe his kids are giving him the kiss of the fountain of youth and all that. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, just wherever he's finding that act or attitude and all, he's staying with it. Leonard Fournette at the running back position, they have a pretty loaded running back room. Leonard Fournette, you got Ronald Jones standing in there. And then they added Giovanni Bernard from Cincinnati. I think they have a pretty multifaceted crew and all that. And they're going to be fine when it comes to that. They got, Gio's a veteran pass catcher out of the backfield. So Tom Brady's going to have a nice little weapon out of there. Leonard Fournette, that strong downhill runner. And then Ronald Jones can do a little bit of both. So I feel as though that they're going to be fine when it comes to the running back situation. The receiving core, I'll tell you, Antonio Brown, if he's got his head straight,
if he has his
this receiving core is the best in the league.
I think
Mike Evans. Yeah, Mike Evans having, I think he had 13 touchdowns last year. 7 of them were 1-yard touchdowns, but that means they got down there all the time. You have him, Chris Godwin, arguably one of the best slots in the game, and then you have your third option is Antonio Brown. If you told me that 5 years ago, I'd slap you silly. That's unbelievable, though.
That's crazy that Antonio Brown as a third option on a team. That's unheard of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the fact that he could blow up this year. That's the thing.
I think if he just stays focused on the field, I definitely think he'll be probably one of the best in the leagues again.
Yeah, this could be the revitalizing time for him, honestly. And I think he's on a 1-year contract, and also he could be playing himself into another gig and all that stuff. And he could be playing himself for another Super Bowl too. This, won it last year, him and Brady, before they were in New England for that one game or something.
One game or something like that.
Still scored a touchdown, which that's just beyond. Like walk in there, score a touchdown, leave. That's the most Antonio Brown New England type of thing to go about. But yeah, that receiving core itself. But then there's still guys behind it though. You got Scotty Miller playing in the slot. Then you got Tyler Johnson, the young receiver. I mean, they've got a lot of depth. So if something happens, they're going to be fine. Brady was encouraging and pressing those guys last year, so he was getting the ball to all those guys. So I feel like there's a lot to go around. Then you also got to remember the tight ends there. You got Rob Gronkowski there. You got Cameron Brate. I mean, there's a lot of balls to go around, but I think everything's going to be just fine. They were able to make it work last year and win a Super Bowl. So I have no doubt about it at all. And then the offensive line. Last year it was a little suspect at the start, but once Brady was able to kind of settle in, that it was just smooth. And the defense, we're switching to the defense now. The defense won them that Super Bowl.
100% they did. They
100% won that Super Bowl.
They had an incredible defense that game.
I mean, like that game in general. Then they came up big late in the Packers game. And then against the Saints, they were able to intercept Drew Brees twice. Didn't have to do a whole lot against Washington, but just down the stretch when they needed to make big plays, they reminded me of the 0-2 Bucs that won a Super Bowl, but they had the offense, which made them 10 times scarier. 10 times scarier. They were able to put 31 points in the big game.
They put up 31 points basically the whole playoffs except like one game.
Yeah. Crazy. And the defense was – they were the story. Like people, they're like, oh, Tom Brady was the one that got him. Well, Tom Brady obviously was the one that got him there, but they got to stop discounting the defense.
I think without that defense, I don't think they would have won this. They wouldn't have won that Super Bowl.
I honestly don't think they would have got past the divisional round.
The
wild card round was close. The divisional round, that would have been wraps right there.
I was pretty sad about the divisional round.
Yeah, I understand that. That Saints type of vibe.
Good thing is Drew Brees is gone, so I'm no bandwagon, but I go for players that I really like from college. So like Tennessee players, big Alvin Marvin, and looks like I'll still be a Saints fan. It'll be in my heart still, but I think I'll be switching over to the Jets side, even because I love Zach Wilson from BYU. I have a lot of
the comment section right there. Jackson saying bold take Wilson will be a top 10 quarterback this year.
I agree with it. I agree. I think Wilson will have I think he'll have a good year. I hope he does. I love Wilson. Good quarterback.
You think he's going to be a top 10 this year?
Mm-hmm. I think so. That's probably my big thing I'm going with. I think he'll be a top 10. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to do. Not going to lie. But, even with Justin Herbert, like the season that he was able to have, and people are like, oh, he's top 10. But then people are like, okay, he's borderline top 10. So I think that'll be tough. But I do think Zach Wilson he's got a lot of potential with the Jets. The Jets have been able to build around him, though. He's got himself a good offensive line. Maybe with the receiving core, they could do a little more. But I think it's good. With his rookie year, there's going to be still a lot more to build on. The defense, I think the defense is obviously going to be the big thing, but I think on offense, Zach Wilson's going to be able to run that offense pretty well a couple weeks through the season just to get his feet wet and all that. So aside that fact, tomorrow's game, big game, Bucks, Cowboys. Who do we got in this one?
I got Bucks winning.
Not a hard one. What's the score?
I'm going to change my score. In the group chat, I did say I didn't mean to say 34. But I'm going to go with 31-16 Bucks.
31-16 Bucks. I can see that score. If the defense is able to get after Dak Prescott and all, make him move like that, I can see the 31-16. I believe I put my stuff in the group chat too. Actually, no, I didn't. I actually have the Bucks winning this one, but I think it'll be 34-24. I think the Cowboys are going to be able to hang around and all that. But, I think the Bucks are going to be able to, take a toll on them late in the game. Dak Prescott the one thing that he does really well is just stays around and just stays chopping at it. That's something that I was able to tell from them last year, even through the first 4 games of the season. Even when the team was down like that, and when the defense was just exhausted, drained, and all that, Dak Prescott was able to just keep fighting. He was just throwing the ball. I thought his arm was going to fall off a couple of times, but yeah, 60 throws a game. I mean, come on.
That's unheard of around here.
I mean, it really is not unheard of in Cincinnati when it comes to 61 passes with Joe Burrow. I'm excited to see him play. I really am, and I'm super excited to see him play in person. Man, I mean, we'll be at the game, row 40 and all in the section. I'm just kind of doxing myself, 156. But Bengals Vikings. That's not a game that people are going to be talking about a whole lot this weekend. But I do think it could be a very underlying good game. That if I'm saying like this could be a hidden gem, this really could. There's storylines coming into it. Obviously, Joe Burrow's first game back off of the very gruesome knee injury. That was super hard to watch as a fan. It really was. After all that he was doing on the field for us, you got Jamar Chase having to case the dropsies in the preseason. Let's see if he can get rid of those. Then T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, trying to take that next step. Tyler Boyd trying to gain more respect. T. Higgins, trying to make his name as a top-tier receiver in the National Football League. Joe Mixon coming back off of injury, missed the last 10 games of the season last year, which really hurt us in some games that we really could have won. And then, I can take a deep dive into Cincinnati all I wanted to. And I still am. The offensive line looks better than last year. Hopefully it can produce on the field. Hopefully it did enough for Joe Burrow. Defensive line, I feel confident. I do. The run game is the one. I really want to be able to stop the run this year. Stop the run and run the football is a big thing that I want the Bengals to be able to do, because we've been decent running the football at times. When you're behind a bad offensive line, nothing's really going to happen. And Joe Mixon's had some really good rushing seasons behind some terrible offensive lines, but setting the tone in the trenches on both sides of the ball is what separates good teams from great teams. Mm-hmm. That's just what it is. And that's just the cold hard formula and all. Linebacking core, we play 2-backer sets. I think they're going to be able to hold their own this year. I really hope they can. Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, done a lot of work this offseason. Akeem Davis-Gaither, playing that backup role. I think there's a lot to look forward to there. The secondary is revamped. Mike Hilton playing that nickel corner. Excited to see him in that role. Pittsburgh, he was really able to shine when it came to that sense. He was probably one of the best nickel corners in the game. And then you look at the corners and all, Trey Waynes, and then you got Chidobe Awuzie. Trey Wayne's coming over from Minnesota. Ironically, we play this weekend, but he didn't play at all last season. He had a torn pec, which for some reason Cincinnati always has someone with a torn pec. Every year, one person always just does it. Training staff needs to, they need to get on.
Deshaun Watson.
Oh God. That's off camera. That's off camera type of stuff. But yeah. And then you got the safeties, Von Bell, Jesse Bates. Thinks that's a very good duo. Von Bell, in my opinion, should be playing a little more down in the box and all. But stuff to look forward to with the Bengals this year. When it comes to Minnesota, the one thing that's really going to frighten me is Dalvin Cook. I mean, the dude is a fantasy machine, and just racks up yards. He really does. Just gets after it. The hard running style, but he's just so smooth when it comes to the pass catching game. Kirk Cousins coming off of 35 touchdowns to 13 interceptions last year. It's really started out shaky, but then once they started out 1-5, I think they ended up going 7-9. It was different. It was really different. Kirk Cousins was just, he looked more confident. He was, he's able to have, better reads and all. Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson on the outsides. Adam Thielen had 14 touchdown catches last year, if I read that correctly. 14. Did not notice that one bit.
I think he's kind of underrated. No one really likes.
Oh, he definitely is. He definitely is. When you walking in, he had Stephon Diggs there. So it was kind of like a balance of Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, but everybody knew that Stephon Diggs was a way more explosive player. Trade him away, draft Justin Jefferson, same amount of explosiveness from Justin Jefferson.
Justin has a great year, and, they don't really talk about Thielen a lot, but he also had a wonderful year too. So.
He definitely did. And that's one thing that does worry me as a fan, as a Bengals fan. Adam Thielen, they can put him in the slot. They can put both players in the slot. They're universal receivers. They can do it all. But I feel like the corners they're just gonna have to hold their ground and lock up, and they're just keep players in front of them. Just don't get beat deep, because those guys can they know what they're doing. They can beat you deep. Justin Jefferson especially, but those guys just rack it up. They just rack up points. They rack up stats. They make great highlights and all that stuff. I feel as though that we're able. We can attack that offensive line. Christian Darrisaw, their first round draft pick, very good offensive tackle from Virginia Tech. But I do think that we can exploit them in a couple of ways. It's going to be a lot on third down though. Really miss Joseph Osai. This would be the moment for him when it came to that. That's just looking at the Vikings offensively. Defensively, the one thing that for us offensively, looking at their defense, the one thing that I'm really worried about is Danielle Hunter. Missed all of last year, neck injury, had a great 2019 season. Joe Burrow's coming back off the knee injury. That's one thing I'm worried about. I just don't want to see Joe Burrow getting hit like that. Yeah. Former Viking Riley Reif's really going to have to play his role well that Sunday, because I will be in the stands and I will be saying, stuff that is, that I should not repeat on the show. But, if something was to happen, and hopefully I'm not foreshadowing the future, because, I'm something bad's going to happen if I'm foreshadowing. Like, I should not be doing podcast. But yeah, that's really the one thing that I'm super worried about is that. Other than that, I feel as though Joe Burrow is going to be, he's got confidence in himself. He's gonna make plays down the field. He's ready to play. He's ready to get hit and all that. He's ready to feel it again. So, I'm very excited to see him back out there. Very excited to see the Bengals in their new uniforms and all that. New traditions coming to jump Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, who day? I hope it goes through well. Really hope it goes through well. But yeah, there's a ton of other games that we got to get to. We could kind of gloss over some of these. We had to read some of our favorite teams and stuff like that. If you got a problem with it, go start your own show. 49ers Lions. Jimmy G's back after injury-riddled season. The Niners, as a whole, are actually back. They're getting scraped up off the turf of MetLife Stadium from the week 2 injuries last year. Mm-hmm. And then they're taking on a new look Lions with Jared Goff leading the way. I feel as though the Niners are going to have a bit of their way in this game, and kind of bring some of the juice back. What do you have in this game, score prediction wise?
I got the 49ers winning for sure. I think they'll struggle in the first half a little bit. I think it'll be man, this is tough. It's just really tough. NFL scores are very odd, very weird.
Be prepared, because I'm going to ask you like every single game.
All right.
All right. Just kind of go on the fly with it.
Yeah, I know 49ers, I'll get them winning. You know what, I'll just say I'll just say 16. I'll say 16-10 49ers.
Very low scoring game. I see.
I think I think they'll both struggle in the first half, but I think second half they'll kind of kick it up a little bit.
The Niners have many identities when it comes to the game of football. They can, there's days where they can throw the ball really well, but they have a very good offensive line, running game, and all. I think Raheem Mostert's going to have a nice afternoon. So I am going to go with the Niners. I think the score is going to look, 23-10. I don't think that's hateful. I think it will be a closer game in the first half, but I think the Niners defense is going to be able to make a big play late in the game just to kind of separate themselves, I do think in the future, Detroit, I think they're doing the right things when it comes to drafting and all, but if they get a receiving core, if they, or even a new quarterback next year, I think the next 2 years they could really set themselves up in the right direction. I think Dan Campbell and all those guys are doing the right thing. So, but yes, I'm going to go Niners 23-10 in this one. Didn't get our pick for the Bengals game. What do you feel is going to happen with the Vikings-Bengals?
I do kind of feel bad to say this, but I do got the Vikings winning.
Okay, all right.
And I really don't want to say the score because,
What do you feel?
I got them winning. I'll say 10-27 Vikings.
Shit. Okay. All right. Shit. I have a bit of a different take. I'm not just trying to say this as a homer. I do feel as though that Cincinnati, I hope they really do come out to play. I don't want to jinx myself at all. We've seen it all as a Cincinnati fan. So nothing will surprise me. But I have hope in this team. I have hope coming out the gate that Burrow and the boys got something cooking up. I just hope that the one thing that's not cooking up is Dalvin Cook running for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns to week 1 in fantasy. But I do feel as though Cincinnati, it's going to be, a mid-scoring game. I think Cincinnati is going to win this one 24-20. I'm going to have I got to have some hope.
A bit of bias. A
little bit, but this is the fan in me talking, and this is also part of the analyst. I think if Cincinnati is able to attack some of the loopholes that the Vikings have in their secondary, if they're able to push the ball down the field, Jamar Chase doesn't have many drops. He said it in his press conference. He wants to put Patrick Peterson on a highlight tape, LSU on LSU crime. If he's able to do that and beat him down the field constantly, give Joe Burrow time to throw it down the field, and they're able to beat him vertically and laterally and horizontally. If they're able to beat him all over the place and just throw on them, I think Cincinnati is going to be just fine. So I got 24-20. I don't think it's going to be really much of a shootout, but I think some of those big plays are going to really come in handy. When it comes to the Bengals, hopping down south, Eagles, Falcons in Atlanta. Jalen Hurts era begins as him being the full-time starter, bearing anything happening, Minshew mania happening in Philly. But they're playing against Matt Ryan and the Falcons. You got Kyle Pitts down there. Calvin Ridley's a new number 1 and all. When I look at this game, I feel as though that this is a game where Calvin Ridley's just gonna torch the Eagles. I think he's already made a name for himself, but I think it's gonna show that, okay, this dude is for real. He is the real deal type of receiver. I do think the Falcons are gonna win this game. I have them winning it. I think it's gonna be kind of a high scoring game though. I have it.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Looking at 31-24.
All right.
That, I think Matt Ryan's gonna have a nice day. I do think Jalen Hurts is going to be very effective late in the game, though, but I don't know if he's going to make enough plays to really overcome the Falcons on offense. The Falcons have no defense. I mean, they really don't. But I think some of the young, the mistakes of a young quarterback can make, I think, are going to plague Jalen Hurts overall in this game.
When I first saw this, I was thinking I was going to go with Eagles on this one. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I do think the Falcons, even though they don't have, their main guy, Julio Jones.
Yeah.
But, Jalen Hurts, I feel like he's a very inconsistent sometimes. You never know what he's going to do each game.
Exactly.
I think he'll struggle a lot, but I do think he'll, kick it up in the second half. But I do have the Falcons winning 34-31. Late field goal to win it. I'm calling it right now.
All right. Calling shots here on the Cut of the Chase Sports Podcast. I like it. I like
Yes,
boldness.
sir.
You know? Like the boldness from Logan Bach's first episode on the show. But yeah, I do feel as though it's going to be, that it's going to be a very intense game. There's going to be a lot of offense going on. The Eagles defense, their front seven's pretty good. Actually, their front four is actually very good. I think if the Falcons are able to protect Matt Ryan decently, he's gonna have a fine day. He's had to deal with all of that before. So that's what we got going down in Atlanta. And then we're gonna go up to Western New York. The Steelers and the Bills. The Steelers apparently might not have TJ Watt for this game.
Oh,
Big news right there.
huge.
Josh Allen coming back off the AFC Championship loss. 13-3 Bills. A lot of hopes coming.
I think the Bills will have an excellent year this year.
I have no doubt about that. They're gonna be just fine when it comes, to expectations and meeting expectations in the regular season. They have a tough schedule though. Obviously, starting with the Steelers off the bat, I will say the Steelers, like we've talked about this before, they were easily they were the worst division winner last year. They were. I mean, when it came, obviously at first they started 11-0, and then they just showed that they seem to be frauds, and just looking at the situation the Steelers have, they have a terrible offensive line. They got Najee Harris. They literally have a Camaro in like the hood, you know what I'm saying? And Ben Roethlisberger, they say he's in the best shape of his life, but we're going to see what happens when that offensive line is literally a bunch of garbage cans trying to get a 4-man rush from the Bills coming. I don't want to, talk like that, but people are saying it's the worst O-line in Cincinnati. And Cincinnati's done some revamping, and the Steelers have done nothing. They've released some of those guys, and some guys have retired. Receiving core, TikToks aside, I think Juju still is, I still don't think he's a bad receiver.
I really do like Juju a lot. I think good. I don't know. I kind of lost a lot of that. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him anymore, but
that off the field stuff it can just, it can filter and get onto the field, which is what we saw a little bit last year of. But I do think if he's able to keep a clear head, which that's a big if, then I think he's gonna have a fine year. Chase Claypool though, he's their best bet.
I think he'll have an excellent year if Big Ben stays healthy and has a good year. I think Chase will have a good year.
Yep, the Maple Megatron, what they call him. I mean, I feel as though he's going to be just fine. And Deontay Johnson, get rid of the drop season. I think he could be an X factor for the Steelers. And then, looking at Pat Freiermuth and Eric Ebron, the tight end core they got there, the defense. Like we said, TJ Watt might not be playing this Sunday, which is a really, really big head scratcher. And the linebacking core, bringing back Devin Bush, the secondary wasn't bad. They really weren't. Minka Fitzpatrick, he leads that team when it comes there. I think he's slightly overrated, but I don't think he's bad at all. I think he's a very good talent. I personally do think Jesse Bates is better than him. People come at me in the comment section and feel like it because I'm here all day for it. But yeah, you come at me too. I don't care. But yeah, rolling over to the Bills though, Josh Allen, great season. I mean, that's going to be tough to top right there. Mm-hmm. But people are projecting 5,000 yards passing from him with the extra game, making it 17. It's very possible to happen.
I think it is pretty possible now.
And with the guy that he's throwing it to, Stephon Diggs, who led the league in receiving last year, he's due for something big this year. He had a really big year last year, but I think he's due for stuff, bigger things this year. So I really like what they got there. Running back core, kind of a running back by committee. You had Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. They kind of balance it all out. But in the defense, I like the secondary a lot from the Bills. and everything. But when I look at coming into this game, I've got the Bills winning this. I have them winning this game. I think of a score of 20. I'm going to go 27-17. 27-17 over Pittsburgh.
I'm gonna go with the Bills on this one. I'm gonna go 20-31 for this one.
20-31. All right. Nothing hateful right there. And then we're gonna hop down. Cardinals Titans. Looking at we're gonna kind of gloss over a lot of this stuff, but yes, the Cardinals, man. I mean, this is gonna be interesting. Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, the addition of AJ Green, James Conner. Larry Legend is not back because he just hasn't officially retired, but he's not playing. He's not. And, I feel like that's going to make DeAndre's numbers even bigger, but then they're also going to double team him more. But then it could also allow guys like Christian Kirk, Rondell Moore, Andy Isabella. It's going to allow those guys to have, have bigger roles and bigger seasons. The defense led by Budda Baker. I feel like, I think he's going to take more of a leadership role when it comes to that. The Titans, though, we switch over to them. Wow. What a core it is on offense. Ryan Tannehill has been revitalized. Derrick Henry, King Henry, put the crown on the head.
That AFC, I can't wait for the playoffs for that. That's going to be –
There's going to be some battles. There's going to be some classic matchups when it comes to the AFC and all. You got so many contenders like the Titans and
Titans, Bills,
Browns, Chiefs. There's a lot of them. Oh, there's really I think there's a set 5 right now, but more teams are going to be able to make their way into there. But then you got AJ Brown, Julio Jones playing receiver and all. The defense is it's average, but with an offense like that, I don't think you really need a great offense
at all.
Through most of the season, they need to bar up more when it comes to the playoff time, but because we're all expecting them to make it there and win this division handily. But yeah, I think that the Titans are sitting in a really good spot, and there's a lot to build off of, especially coming from the AFC Championship game 2 years ago when no one expected them to. No one expected them to make the playoffs.
They played great.
Yeah, I mean I feel as though there's a lot to look forward to when it comes to the Tennessee Titans. Yeah. In this game, this is the sleeper game of the day. It's the number 7 broadcast team for CBS, believe it or not. But yeah, I think the Titans are going to get after this one. I think it's going to be. I think I have a score of 35-27. 35-27 Titans.
I think I do have the Titans winning. I do think, losing Patrick Peterson is going to kind of not do so well for the Cardinals. I think Ryan Tannehill will have an excellent game with, the receiver they have and running back. I do have them winning 38-28.
All right. So nothing bad there. I also feel as though it's going to be a back and forth game, but once the Cardinals miss an opportunity, the Titans are going to take over because of King Henry. I aforementioned King Henry in the backfield. So got our picks there. Both agree on the Titans. We're going to hop down. We're going to kind of speed things up. Seahawks Colts happening in the great state of Indiana. The Seahawks bringing back Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Chris Carson, the whole crew there. Offense looks great, but it kind of faltered down late in the season. Russell Wilson went from MVP to MVP. That's actually Mitch Trubisky's title there. But we look at them; they kind of fell off the proverbial cliff when it came to the playoffs. They played the Rams defense, which was tough. The Colts, I thought they had a very good season last year. Phillip Rivers retiring and then having Carson Wentz come into play.
I think it's going to be a little tough for them this year, I feel like.
It's going to be an interesting transition. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. With Carson Wentz being injured from before and Quentin Nelson, probably one of the best offensive linemen in football, bit of an adjustment. I feel like this game, before I thought the Colts, coming in before all the injuries and all the stuff that I saw of them, I thought the Colts were going to come out and surprise. but the Seahawks are the best. I saw a stat. The Seahawks are the best team on the East Coast in the last 5 years. So they're going to win. I think they're going to win this game actually pretty handily. 30. I have them winning 34-17.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before I thought it was going to be a very close game. But I think it's going to be 34-17.
I will say I do think I got the Seahawks winning. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this.
Okay.
But I will say I think DK is probably one of the more overrated receivers in the league. I said it. All right.
I'm not gonna really disagree. Well, there's levels to it. He's explosive, very explosive receiver. But I will say one thing: Jalen Ramsey is his father. That's the one. I'm just gonna say it like that. He's until something happens.
Yeah,
Jalen Ramsey is his father. That seems to be his kryptonite.
I got the Seahawks winning now 24-7.
24-7. All right. And then we got Anthony in the chat. So you got the Saints as a heavy sleeper to make a deep play. I feel as though the Saints, if they get Jameis Winston going and all, and Jameis Winston's making the smart plays, right plays and stuff, and relying on the run game, the defense is there. I really do think that they've got a good shot at making a run in the playoffs, and the Bills favorite to win it all. We've got high hopes for the Bills. We really do. And when it comes to the Chiefs, they have the best chance taking down the Chiefs, I think. People will say the Browns and all, which the Browns Chiefs on Sunday. But yeah, I think the Bills, I think overall they have the best shot at taking down the Chiefs when it comes offense versus offense. And then, looking at the defenses, the Chiefs defense is all right, but the Bills I believe is better overall when it comes to secondary play. But yes, I actually agree with both those takes right there. Bills and Saints play each other on Thanksgiving night though too. Keep an eye on that. Yes. So then we're going to move down. Second-year quarterback and rookie of the year, Justin Herbert, is going to go to the nation's capital, just outside the nation's capital, to play the Washington football team, the team with no name just yet. But yes, the Washington football team had the second overall pick last year and won the division. They won the division at 7-9, the NFC least. But yes, Justin Herbert's going to play against Chase Young, that ferocious front four of the Washington football team. But there's a lot of hype coming in for Justin Herbert. How do we see this playing out on Sunday?
Oh, I honestly don't really know. This one game is really tough for me. I'm kind of going towards the football team a little bit, but I honestly kind of want to go towards the Chargers on this one though. Herbert. I feel like he'll have an explosive year this year. I hope he does.
Mm-hmm.
My hopes for him this year. Has Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen will be, I think he'll perform pretty well this year. I hope he does,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'll probably go the Chargers on this one, but I think it'll be really close. I'll go 20-21 Chargers winning.
Very close game there. Very close game. It's going to be a game-winning field goal. Is that a shot we're taking?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Well, score-wise, yeah, never mind. But yeah.
I'm saying a deep fade route. Well, yeah, fade route. Herbert to Allen.
We're going specifics. All right. I'll be a little specific with you here. The line is even.
It's on the right side.
The betting line's even right now for this game, so that makes it obviously the toughest game to pick overall. I'm gonna go Chargers 20-17, and I believe the kicker is Michael Badgley. If I'm not mistaken, he's gonna hit a 49-yard game-winning field goal right hash.
All right.
So we're gonna just take bets on this. We're gonna just.
I got the fade on the right side,
and then we got a right hash field goal. So this should be interesting to see how when we come back to this on Monday and we talk about all this and review tape. For your guy from BYU, Jets Panthers, Sam Darnold taking on his old team, Zach Wilson taking on his processor. How do we see this playing out?
I honestly don't know. I do know. I just got Madden 22. I will tell you this.
I know
the Panthers, and when I always play them, they kill me every time. Literally, they have a great year. Every time I play them, they would like win their division. They go like to the basically close to the Super Bowl every year. So
remnants of 2015 of Can.
for real. But honestly, I think this will be. I think Zach Wilson. I think he'll struggle his first game. I got the. This is tough, honestly. I honestly don't know who to pick. Why don't you pick yours first?
All right, I got you. So I had this weird kind of vision back in June. 26-20 Panthers. Zach Wilson goes 19 of 31, 203 yards, touchdown, 2 picks.
Okay,
He takes it to the end though. He takes it to the end. But he throws a pick. He throws a pick with 2 minutes to go. And
I can see that. I think I'll go with the Panthers on this one. I think Zach Wilson he'll struggle in his first game. I hope he does well this year, but I do think he'll kind of struggle this year. But I got the Panthers winning. I'll go 10. I don't know. I'll go 13-17 Panthers.
Okay, so nice close game there. Christian McCaffrey coming back too. I feel like he's going to make a very big impact on this game. The Panthers, I would say, don't sleep on their receiving core. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Sam Darnold, they would get them the ball. Then I feel like the Panthers, I think the Panthers offense is going to be very explosive this year. And then going down to Texas, the Lawrence era begins as a Jaguar, and they're playing probably one of the most dismantled situations in football. The Houston Texans, they call themselves. But the way that I see things, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to start off with a nice debut. I think he's going to take a couple lumps here and there, but I feel as though that they're going to ultimately win this game, score of a 24-17 over the Texans. Taylor's going to make a couple plays and all, but I think it's going to be closer than what the general public expects. But 24-17 Jaguars is my score.
I got the Jaguars on this one. I'm gonna go 24-10 on the. Actually, no, I'll go 24-10 on this one.
Okay, all right.
I think Trevor Lawrence he'll have. I think his expectations are really high. I think it'll be a little lower than that his first game, but I do think he'll have a good year this year for sure.
Yeah, but the expectations are high, especially coming in when you're getting comparisons as the best prospect coming out since Peyton Manning. I mean, that's pretty high expectations, I will say.
Yeah.
But I do think that he's, seeing him in the preseason, I think he's definitely capable of doing all that. So, yep, we got the Jaguars taking that one. Now we get to the main dish of Sunday, 4:00. Browns Chiefs. I mean, I'll tell you this. I remember watching this game January 17th, divisional round. Patrick Mahomes goes down.
Oh.
I had the instinct that the Browns were just going to win because just that's how things went. I hate every team in the AFC North. I have a very strong dislike for every team in the AFC North. I'll keep it real with everyone. All right, I will. When it comes to an analyst way, I'll keep it real with you about that. But, when it comes to game day and stuff like that, I'm a Bengals fan first, and I couldn't give a shit. So, but yeah, I mean, the Browns have a very good football team. They've gotten better on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, they run things through Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Baker Mayfield good off the play action game. They added they added a partner for Myles Garrett. They added Jadeveon Clowney, who had 0 sacks last year, but that gloss over all that because it's Jadeveon Clowney, first overall pick. So they have two number one overall picks on both sides of both sides of the defensive line. They did some stuff nice in the draft, getting Greg Newsome, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah from Notre Dame. So the Browns, everything looks set for real. I never thought I'd be saying that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Everything looks set right now for Cleveland, and
I think the Browns will have a good year.
I think they'll have a very good year. I think I'm looking at 12-5.
Yeah, I was thinking.
I would have more confidence in the Ravens winning the division if J.K. Dobbins didn't go down, but I feel like the Browns could win the division this year. But I really, from a fans perspective, I really hope they're about even so they can just get a decent draft pick and not make the playoffs. That's the fan in me talking right now, but we're trying to keep that all three go out of there. But and then the Chiefs. The Chiefs have dominated the AFC the last 3 years.
I think the Chiefs will have a wonderful, wonderful year and a wonderful game. I got the Chiefs. Just saying it right now.
All right, yeah, I feel it. I feel the Chiefs winning this game. I feel as though the score is going to be, I'm going to keep it basic, 28-21.
Okay.
I think Baker's going to have a fine game. I feel like he's going to have a mistake down the stretch that's really going to cost him that fans don't expect that it's really going to cost them down the stretch. He's going to I think he's going to have a mistake in the third quarter that kind of just puts this game under wraps. Actually, scratch that 31-21, not 28.
31-21. Okay. I was thinking on this one. I'm debating either between 24-35 or 21-35.
For this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I'll go 21-35. Or I'll go 20. I'll go 20 24-35.
Okay. Those are both respectable though. I feel like the Browns fans, I feel as though you guys are gonna have a good thing to take away from this game. But I do think the Chiefs are going to come out firing. I don't think they're going to try to be lackadaisical when it comes to, offensively and all that stuff. So I think everything's going to be fine when it comes to that sense. Hold on, I'm going to get a call here. Okay, so just had to talk to my coach there for just a second. Moving down to the other late game on CBS, Dolphins Patriots. I almost said Panthers again. Dolphins Patriots, 4:25 on CBS. The Alabama QB Bowl. Tua versus Mac Jones. And a lot of praise from Mac Jones. People are just going in saying, I forget whose list I saw. I think it was an ESPN analyst saying top 5 offenses in the National Football League. Pat's at 5.
Whoa.
Major shakeup. It's unexpected. But when I look at this game overall, I am concerned about Tua in a way. I saw him in the preseason once, and he played football well. He played the game well. Mac Jones was impressive this preseason. I think they're going to rely a lot on the running game this year. I think they're going to rely a lot on the running game this, on Sunday. And they're gonna try to make things easy for Mac Jones. Simple concepts, throwing the ball and all. But I do feel as though he's going to make a couple of big plays in this game, and I think the score will end up, being a 20-13 Patriots win. When it's all said and done.
I got the Patriots win on this one. I'll go 13. I'll go 13-24 Patriots.
Okay. That was actually one of my other original predictions that I had from a couple months ago once the schedule was released. But yeah, and I'm not discounting anything away from the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins have a pretty tough schedule to start the season out with. They do play the Patriots, and then they have to come home and welcome the Bills, and they go play the Las Vegas Raiders, and they play the Colts. And then they play the Bucs. They play in Tampa. So, I mean, they got a tough schedule to start out with. I think if they can get over those lumps and everything, I think the Dolphins could still contend for a playoff spot this year. Tua is obviously the big question. They're asking this after just year one, even though they go 10-6. He had the best record out of all rookie quarterbacks last year, but they're still asking the question, and the flirting of the organization with Deshaun Watson. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a pretty Lifetime-esque movie type of thing. But yeah, that's also a poll that I asked, is Deshaun Watson going to play a snap this year? That's one thing I asked earlier.
I hope he does.
Did you say yeah or no? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure I did say yeah. Oh,
It just depends on. I mean, the trade deadline. That's like I think that's week 8. So I mean,
I
it
did
just
say yes.
yeah, it just all depends. Like a lot of stuff can happen in 8 weeks, and this is the NFL. Anything can happen in this league. And then rolling into the NFC. Old man Aaron Rodgers is back for what seems to be the last dance in Green Bay, but also could be the last dance for his favorite target, Devontae Adams, as they both posted on their stories back in July and all. Aaron Rodgers is talking about the front office management went up there and literally just roasted them and was just taking just shots at them on top of on the podium and all. And Devontae Adams talking about how he would love to play with Derek Carr in Vegas and openly discussions about that. So this seems to be the last dance. It is a new dance when it comes to the Saints. Jameis Winston taking hold of quarterbackship there. Alvin Kamara, they're going to be the workhorse and all.
Mhm.
At receiver, Michael Thomas is nowhere to be found as he waited way too long to get a foot surgery that should have been done months ago. So we're going to look at Marquez Callaway as their number one guy down there. He actually had some nice catches in the preseason.
Yeah.
Was pretty explosive overall. The defense is going to be the thing that's going to win or lose this game on Sunday, which is played in Jacksonville due to Hurricane Ida. Buck and Aikman on the call. Nance Romo going to be on the call in Kansas City for your nationally televised games. But yeah, how I feel about this game, my thoughts are that the Saints are going to get it done. I think they will. That's going to be kind of my upset pick for the week. I think Jameis Winston's going to play a very fine game. I think the score is going to end up being 27-24.
Okay.
I do want to pick the Packers. I think the Packers are going to have a very good year. And honestly, okay, we'll do predictions. We'll talk about like season predictions. Well, we could talk about them after we're done with these picks. But yeah, I feel the Packers are going to have a great season, but I think the Saints are going to get this one done. I think the defense is going to come up really big when they need to. So 27-24 Saints is my
All
pick.
right. Yes, you. I'm excited for the Saints here. Marquez Callaway, Tennessee boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Excited for him.
got a rep.
Always loved watching him in college and I'd go to the games and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be it'll be a close game. I got the Packers on this one. I got them 21-17 or not 21-17. Sorry, 21-27 Packers on this one.
Okay.
I think Aaron Rodgers. I think he'll have an outstanding game with Devontae.
Aaron Rodgers things, man. Some of the stuff that he's able to do, especially when he gets out of the pocket, he's the ultimate, definition of a gunslinger. And it's gonna be fun to see him back in action, especially after the way things played out in the NFC Championship game last year. And then the other 4:00 game that we're looking for, in this great city of New York, the Broncos taking on the Giants. A weird 4:00 game, but I think people are looking at the Broncos when it comes to defensive matters, that they're going to be just fine in this game and trying to trick Danny Dimes to throw to wide open linebackers in this case. So I'm actually going to go with the Broncos. I changed that prediction. I had the Giants winning this one a little bit ago, but just kind of a gut feeling that the Broncos are going to pick off Danny Dimes a couple of times and make this one a very low scoring 19-13 affair.
Okay. I got the Broncos winning on this one as well. I'm excited to see this defense, the Broncos defense. Surtain or whatever.
Yep.
His name.
Yeah.
I'm excited for him. Big hype out of college. Excited. I did like him a lot. Score prediction. I'm gonna go with. I'll go low scoring game as well. I'm gonna go. I'll go 10-13. 10:30.
Nice and simple game. I could definitely see it though, with both defenses being very good and the offenses being on the subpar type of range right there. The Giants do have Kenny Galladay, which could put them top and away. But yeah, I mean, I definitely respect that score right there. And then to the Sunday night, the nightcap right there. Al and Chris on the call at SoFi Stadium. Weird fact for people that'll watch this and that are watching. I've watched every Sunday Night Football kickoff since December 21st of 2008. It's a really weird stat to say, and just kind of weird to share to the public. But I think this is going to be game 218 in a row that I have not missed, barring anything ridiculous happening, like Martians pointing a beam at Earth and Andre Iguodala hit a shot. That's a Matt Kellerman thing right there. But yes, Bears, Rams, Andy Dalton leading the Bears into SoFi Stadium to take on the best defense in the National Football League to start things off. I could see disaster happening, but I do think the Bears overall have a good team. The Rams just have a better team. So I feel as though the Rams are going to get this job done. I think it's going to be a score of 26-17. I think, I think Dalton's going to be able to find a little loophole and like on a play, and they're gonna feast off it, score a touchdown. But I think the score is going to look closer than actually what it is. I think the Rams are going to beat up the Bears overall, but 26-17 is my score.
Okay. I got the Rams on this game, I think. I hope Matthew Stafford does well. I like him a lot, finally out of Detroit, so he could do something well.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Ramsey will lock down Allen Robinson a lot. I think they will have an excellent game, and I got them winning 34-16.
All right. See that offense trying to get things rolling and all, and the defense. That defense is just clamps, straight clamps. You got Aaron Donald on the inside, and you got Jalen Ramsey on the outside.
DK's father.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes, DK's father and all. But yeah, just like they have a young secondary that Jalen Ramsey just leads, and I think they kind of go by example. So I think things are going to be working out pretty well for the Rams this year. And then going to Monday night, we're going to a place that we like to call Las Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, not on this stage. It is Monday Night Football. Everyone's going to see it. The Lamar Jackson show. Houdini, he's going to have a nice game. And I think the Ravens are going to take this one. I think it's going to be closer, though. I will say, I think it's going to be a score of 26-23. Well, no, rephrase that, 27-23. I think Derek Carr's going to have a nice game. Protect him well. Darren Waller's going to be, his favorite target and all. They don't really have many receivers. And Henry Ruggs, though, on the outside. But I do think Henry Ruggs is a bit of a case that we're going to have to follow this year. And then Lamar Jackson, I think they're going to run the zone read really well. I think he's going to develop more as a passer. You got a Hollywood Brown, Sammy Watkins, Rashad Bateman, the first-round pick, Mark Andrews, who just recently signed a big contract for a tight end. No J.K. Dobbins, unfortunately. But then you also got what's his face? I just forgot his name. Crap. I mean, you signed Le'Veon Bell. I will say that. But Gus Edwards, that's who it is. Have Gus Edwards in the backfield. Le'Veon Bell is a Raven now? Have you told me that?
That's last year.
Yeah, that's just really, really weird to think about how far things have come, how full circle things have come in that regard. But I feel like Lamar Jackson have a nice game. I think this is going to be kind of the game where people are like, okay, he's developing more as a passer. This is going to be some games where he gets some reps in and he's able to make some bigger, some big time throws and all. I expect him to take a couple deep shots down the field and try to press that Raiders secondary. And I think the Ravens are going to be fine. I think it's going to be a closer game, though, because Derek Carr is underappreciated, and I think he's going to battle. So I think it's going to be 27-24 Ravens in this very eventful week 1.
I think, this game is going to be close, definitely. I'm excited. You know, Monday Night Football in Vegas, so it's definitely. I think Derek Carr is very underrated, but I do have the Ravens winning this one, 20-27.
I like that score prediction, really do. And that's the full week one slate of games. Before we get off of here, just kind of not a blind pick, but who do you have in the Super Bowl this year?
Ooh. Oh man, you got to put me on the spot like that.
I'll put you on the spot like that. Out of just throwing a question out the bag, out of pocket right there. What do you think?
I got the Bills in there. I will tell you that Bills. I think the Chiefs and Bills rematch an AFC game, but this time I feel like the Bills will have a better record, and I think they'll have home field advantage and win that game. So I got Bills and NFC. That is tough.
A lot of stuff can happen over there. A lot.
Man. I kind of just want to play it safe and just say the Bucks, but I just don't.
Could happen. I mean, those two teams play each other week 14 as well. That's going to be one thing for December.
Could be a preview of the Super Bowl. I don't know. I do kind of want to say Rams on this one.
Good.
I really do.
Rams playing the home Super Bowl.
I just got to go with the Bucks, man. I say Bills, Bucks.
I feel it. That's a pretty good safe pick and all. I'm going to go a little bit of a different route. I think the Titans are just going to get hot in January. I think they're going to ride a wave. Ryan Tannehill is just going to continually have a hot hand. I don't know. I mean, I feel a certain way about them when it comes to this. I think they're going to restore some things, and I think they're going to make it there, and kind of on a Cinderella run away, because teams like the Chiefs and the Bills and the Ravens and Browns, they're all going to be dogfighting. But I think the Titans are going to find a way. I think they're going to run the football well. I think Ryan Tannehill is going to make some big plays, explosive plays down the field, and it's going to end up getting them to the Super Bowl. But man, I love this, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have his opportunity, his final opportunity with the Packers. I think they're going to make it. I think they're going to get over the NFC Championship curse and make it. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to see himself back in the glory days, and they're going to play the Titans in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, I like it. Honestly. I really do. I think that would be pretty awesome seeing.
Both matchups would be great, though. They really would. Just seeing, when it comes to that, Aaron Rodgers having that sense of urgency to win it all before he gets out of there. And then you got Brady. Brady's I'm playing the Bills in a Super Bowl. Like that, just kind of like that realization factor. So very good things from both. Well, I also got to say, Logan, with the show about to end, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on. Last minute stuff. We're gonna have Brady and Jake back on the show next week. We got a big interview coming up next Wednesday. We got Josh Appel. He's actually going to be on the call. Radio call for I think it's Sports Media USA for the Packers and Saints this Sunday. He'll be on the radio broadcast play-by-play call. We'll have him on for a nice interview next week. Football's back tomorrow, dude. Less than 24 hours away from the national.
Excited.
And we got a big weekend this week. We both got big weekends, dude. Let's get after it. Appreciate all the support in the comments section. People that have been watching it all, and we will see you guys next Wednesday. This is Chase Yachts, Logan Box, signing off.
Yeah.